So I was born with a birth defect called spina bifida. Spina bifida does vary in severity and types. But in my case, spina bifida, I have a hole in my spine, and so the nerves don't have anything to connect to. And so I am not able to move my feet or feel my feet, and for a vast majority of my life, I have been wheelchair bound. I was very, very lucky to have parents that got me active at a very young age. A large majority of my life I've been active in sports. My parents got me involved in wheelchair basketball in particular when I was 4 years old. And I loved playing wheelchair basketball. I've played it for as long as I can remember, and I still play it to this day. But my experience with sports didn't really stop there. I had a mindset that if my friends were playing sports and my friends were doing those things, then why wouldn't I be able to, even if I did have this physical disability? And so at the age of 8, I decided that I wanted to play baseball. And so I went to my parents and told them, and they said, okay, let's go ahead and figure that out. Let's do this. And at the age of 8, I played baseball with my friends. I didn't play in my wheelchair. I actually went out on the field and I crawled around, which for most people would sound really weird, but that was the way that I was going to do it, and that was just my experience. From there, I wanted to play tackle football, and at this point my parents had maybe had a little bit of reservation on that. How was I going to go out and play tackle football and not get run over, and how is that going to work? But with everything else, my parents decided that we were going to figure that out. And so I went out and I crawled around and I played defensive lineman and had a really fun year playing football. I believe the hardest part about trials and hardships is being alone in those and feeling alone in those. And so growing up, I definitely felt very similar to my friends, or felt like I could do all the things that they could do, but I always could tell that they didn't really view me in that way. And that was difficult for me because I was trying so hard to break down barriers and to just live a normal life, and in no fault of their own, they just saw the physical disability and just made assumptions from there. Playing wheelchair basketball and wheelchair tennis, I was able to talk to and get to know people that were experiencing very similar things to me. They were in wheelchairs as well, and they had that idea of feeling alone. And so being able to, a couple times a week, get with people that were understanding me at a whole different level than my friends or my family could really helped me to kind of get through those tough times. Growing up, I just like I've said, I wanted to do everything that my friends were doing and just live a normal life, and serving a mission was definitely part of that. I never really felt like serving a mission wasn't going to be part of my life. And so when I submitted my papers, I was really excited to know where I was going to go, to know where I was going to serve. Some of my friends had already received their mission calls, and I was excited to kind of join in on that. And a couple weeks went by and I didn't hear anything. A month went by and I still didn't hear anything. And sure enough, 5 or 6 weeks go by and I still have not heard anything. And so I actually got a call from my state president in Wisconsin and said that he had some news about my mission call, and that he wanted me to come in and talk about it with him. And so I was really nervous, but I went in and talked to my state president, and he shared the news with me that the Brethren had reviewed my papers, and they had decided that I was going to be honorably excused from missionary service, and that I was to try to do other good things like school and get married and all, honorable things like that. And that really, for me, was one of the hardest things that I've ever had to go through. My whole life, I had broken down barriers. I had decided that I was going to live a normal life and decided that I was going to be like everyone else. And at that point, I was told no. I did everything that I was supposed to. I filled the papers out, and I was flat out just told no. And that was a very difficult experience, but it was an experience that I really needed. I really needed to have that experience to humble myself. Up to that point, I had this idea that everything I had accomplished was because of myself and because of my own willpower. And to a point, that's true. But the reality is that Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ are why I was able to accomplish what I had. Through the strengthening and enabling power of the atonement, I was able to tap into a power that was beyond myself and be able to accomplish those things. Through that experience, my parents and I, we really wanted to, search other options and try to find maybe a service mission or maybe a church history mission or something like that. And I wasn't too involved in the process, but my parents had, talked to some people, and one thing led to another, and I was able to find a mission called the Referral Center Mission, which is in Provo, MTC. And sure enough, I was called to the Referral Center and served a 2-year mission as an online missionary. And I was able to share my testimony and share my experiences with people all around the world. People have different experiences. People have different perspectives and different understanding of their own situation. And just because person A and person B are both in a wheelchair, that doesn't mean that you treat them the same, or they have the same experiences, or quite frankly, they understand each other perfectly. We're all here to experience things differently and to learn different lessons, and that's great. And it's important that we're willing to share those things. It's important that we're willing to be vulnerable and to, admit that we're going through a tough time, and this is what we've been able to do to overcome that thing. I think a lot of times people like to just act like things are okay, act like things have been just great their whole life, and that they don't go through hard times. That's just not the truth. I've been very lucky to have a positive attitude. I've been very lucky to be blessed with that, but at the same time, I still have had tough things that I've gone through. I still have had to not really fully understand the full picture and to just continue on.